Now let's talk about a point in my life where I felt it has come to an end for me. Well, I felt there was no way out, but then ended up being one of my biggest breakthroughs in life. Now, in 2019, when COVID set in, my grandmother asked me to leave the house, I mean, our family house, because she was broke and she wanted to rent my room so she could make money. Now, I thought it was a joke. One day I stepped out, came back, and she had packed all my stuff at the gate that William left my house. So people from the neighborhood came around, pleading on my behalf that why are you doing this to William? William is a cool guy. William is not a bad boy. Why are you doing this to him? My grandmother still insisted. So we went to the church, I mean her church, to report the issue because she was a leader in the church. So now some church members came to the house to speak to her. She still insisted, no, the church didn't buy this house for me. It is my own house. I decide what to do with it. So my grandson should leave my house. Then I had nowhere to go. I had no job at that time. I started this mags on a small scale. It was tough. That day, I felt my whole life had come to an end. But then I managed to secure a small wooden structure where I could put my clothing and then a student mattress in that room. And then it felt worse because at that time I didn't know what to do. COVID, and I had no job, and I felt like my life had come to an end. So I wake up every morning crying, praying, crying, praying. That was my daily routine. Then I jumped on LinkedIn. When I jumped on LinkedIn, I was sharing motivational messages with my pictures while I was living in the forest. So I shared these pictures, encouraging people. Then this man from the US saw it. When he saw it, he was like, "Hey, William, I feel you have a beautiful story. Let me introduce you to this group and tell them your story, and let's see what happens." I was like, cool. So I jumped on a Zoom meeting, about 50 businessmen and women, me from Africa, telling them my story. Then I bought one mug, one of my invisible mugs. So after sharing my story, I showed them the mug, started pouring hot water in it, and telling them that, hey, look, we all have something special inside of us. Sometimes we need to go through uncomfortable situations. That is the hot water to bring out the beautiful things inside of us. When I was doing this demonstration, and I poured the hot water, a beautiful image came up. And then they were like, wow, wow, William, wow. Perhaps some of them were on the verge of collapsing their business because of the COVID. But then I gave them a wake up call that, and they were like, even if William, you've gone through all these things and you are still pushing, then we can also do better. Then guess what? The next thing was I started shipping marks from Ghana to the US. They started buying from me because of my story. Then another thing came up. I was featured on the Times Square billboard in US, and it grew like that. So all I want to say is when we go through tough situations, it doesn't mean that is the end of our life. It is a next step for us to move ahead. My name is William Planch, author, founder of No Human is Useless. Thank you for listening.